And let me pull up my agenda. Okay, so we'll move on to the roll call.
Recording in progress.
Okay, Commissioner Bradnax.
Here.
Commissioner Bryan.
Here.
Commissioner Doser here. Commissioner Gill. I don't believe he is here. Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Palzer.
Here.
And Commissioner Redmond. We see you, so. Oh, having audio troubles. Okay, so present. Okay, so we will move on to the agenda, or sorry, the approval of the agenda for today's meeting. Does anybody have any comments around today's meeting or any changes for the agenda?
Madam Chair, no staff changes.
No staff changes? Any changes from the group?
I move to approve the agenda.
Great. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion passes. Moving on to the approval of the minutes for today's meeting. That is on March 21st. Any comments or additions that need to be made for today's minutes? Or sorry, minutes from February 22nd, sorry. From last month's meeting, any changes?
No.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the minutes from last month.
Is there a second?
I'll second again.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, it passes. All right.
Can you just note that I'll abstain since I wasn't there?
Noted. Okay, moving on to new business. So we have our tennis sanitation recycling collection annual review today. So we'll go ahead and hand that over to Angela if she's ready to present.
Madam Chair, actually, I will present the details and then I'll introduce Angela and Willie after the presentation, if you don't mind.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to share my screen with you for this presentation. One moment here. This is not the right presentation. Oopsie. Bear with me. I apologize for this. I'm a little rusty here. Okay, talk amongst yourselves while I figure this out.
You just want to prove it, we'll be fine with that.
Hey, no comments from the peanut gallery. Oh, okay. I'm opening. Here we go. There it is. Now it's open on my laptop and I will be able to share. Huh. Wow. There we go. Look at that. Okay, gang. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I really do appreciate that. So tonight we will be reviewing the annual review for Tennis Sanitation. Of course, they are our contracted recycling hauler in Maplewood. And for your information, those new on the commission, Tennis Sanitation has been the city's recycling contractor since 2011. So they've been helping us improve on our recycling and reduce our waste for many years. But the current contract is a 5.5-year contract that began January of 2020 and expires in June 30th of 2025. So we're entering year 3 of that contract. And the contract does require that the recycling hauler come in for an annual review, which will include the recycling report that they submit to us annually in February, and then we review that. And then a recycling work plan that we all kind of work on together to see if there's any kind of service improvements that can help the city's program. So the annual report that Tennis submitted outlines some of these improvements to the city's residential recycling. Let's see, I'll pick 1 or 2 here. Well, education tags is a big part of the program. You know, when Tennis Sanitation, their drivers are out there and they're noticing things that shouldn't be in the cart, like an example this year, or last year, I should say, was we were seeing a lot of boxes with the styrofoam still in the box. And of course, you can recycle the cardboard, but you can't recycle the styrofoam. So Tennis will identify that. And then most of the time they'll have to leave the cart with the items in it, you know, because you don't want to contaminate the rest of the load. But getting out and leaving an education tag on that cart so that the resident knows and is more informed for the next time around. So that report goes into a lot of those different types of details that Tennis is working on for the city of Maplewood. And of course, that was included in your staff report. And the data that's out there, there's a lot. Tennis does a really good job at giving us substantial amounts of data on the materials collected, the number of people participating, the residual rates. So I've scaled it down just to these few numbers. So we compare now from 2020 to, oh, and I apologize. That's what I get for these last minute changes here. But what we are comparing here is the 2020 rates to the 2021 rates. So the first column is 2020, second column 2021. I apologize for that. But we're looking at the average pounds of recycling collected per month for single family. And you can see that's down slightly from 2020, from 4613 pound, 0.313 pounds to, and that's on average per month, to 4374, 43.74. Multifamily, again, down a little bit, 10.39 pounds in 2020 to 10.14 pounds in 2021. So it'll be interesting to see if representatives from Tennis have maybe some sort of theory on why that is. Perhaps it's due to the COVID-19 shutdowns kind of being lessened in 2021 and people starting to go back to work and not at home as much, not having as many things delivered to them. Then we go on to the annual net tons of recycling, which of course mirrors that average, but the single family, again, down from 3,137.35 tons down to 2,974.80 tons. Multifamily down 265.29 tons in 2020 to 259.04 tons in 2021. And on another note, the business and churches, so our contract allows small businesses and churches to opt into the city's residential recycling program. And we currently have 28 of those that are opted in. And in 2020, we saw 20.58 tons of recycling. And then now that's up a bit to 21.39, likely because now they're in their facilities more often after some of the COVID-19 shutdowns. But I speculate on that. So I wanted to give you a summary of the work plan that we had put together last year and how tennis has really helped us make those improvements. And one of the big items is our household count audit. And Angela and I spent considerable amount of time and just mind warping kind of data we had to go through to figure this out. I think the biggest kind of challenge was previously and probably currently tennis in their counts, they look at some of the townhomes and manufactured homes as multifamily homes. And in our counts, we were trying to capture the townhomes and manufactured homes as single family homes because those could be collected curbside. Unlike a multifamily, say an apartment, those have to be captured or collected, at a central location. So that was some of the challenges of getting to the household count. But we've really never done a household count audit. So this was much needed. And we have finally settled on a household count of 10,988 single family homes. Again, that includes townhomes, manufactured homes, and single family homes, and 4,290 multifamily homes. And so those are those apartments. And what was I going to say about this? Well, just that it was a huge undertaking, and thank you, Angela, for your assistance on this. Recycling cart audit, we really wanted to get at the size of carts that are out there. Years ago, when tennis rolled out the recycling carts, they rolled out 65-gallon carts to all single-family homes and 35-gallon carts to all townhomes and manufactured homes. And now that we're working on our pay-as-you-throw trash fees, so trying to create more of a difference between the cart sizes to encourage people to, reduce their cart size and maybe increase their recycling, we're hoping is the theory. So we want to see how that plays out over the years with the switch in the cart sizes for recycling now that tennis offers all sizes. So here's what we have out there currently: 262 35-gallon carts, 8,731 65-gallon carts, and 268 95-gallon carts. And again, this allowing the switch in cart sizes didn't start out that way, so it's going to be a kind of a slow, maybe change over the years. Education to reduce residuals. I think the biggest thing that we did on this was our annual solid waste guide, which came out in 2021. And it goes to all of our households, and it talks about the overall program, including trash and recycling. And a big component of that is, what you can put in the recycling cart and what you can't. And then multifamily and business recycling improvements. And this really got at our Ramsey County recycling score grant requirements and how they want us to promote the biz recycling grant opportunities and assistance offered by Ramsey County. So we were able to do this because the new contract with tennis, again, that started in 2020, they now will roll out recycling dumpsters in addition to recycling carts to multifamily properties. Previously, it was just the carts that they were collecting the recycling in. So now if it's a large apartment complex, and let's say they had to put out like 20 carts every week, they can now reduce that if they have somewhere to store those recycling dumpsters. And when we did those site visits to some of those apartment buildings last year, we also, of course, notified them of that biz recycling opportunity. So it was a good process, and it really complemented each other. So now for the 2020 work plan proposal, and again, up for discussion tonight. Tennis has been supplying us with reports for many years, and there's just some changes that I think are needed after all these years, and those were outlined in the staff report. Outreach to non-participating multifamily properties that are not recycling. So in our household count, what we did find was that there are 3 multifamily properties we estimate. That's our best. There are 3 properties that are not recycling at all. 2 of them are due to some contamination issues, and we really had to just pull the carts. And another one, I don't just kind of got lost and never had recycling, I don't think. So we'll work this year to ensure that, we work with Biz Recycling, Ramsey County, and Tennis to try and get them up and running on the recycling program again. And a lot of the challenges in 2 of those properties are non-English speaking residents, and just kind of an educational component that we really need to work on. And so a lot of the trash was ending up in the recycling. Audit of city facility recycling collection. Tennis does supply recycling to all City of Maplewood facilities, and I've had this on there before, but I really want to ensure that we're doing that, on occasion. I think there's some areas that we could make some improvements, like our park maintenance facility. Right now they have several carts out there, but I'm wondering if maybe that would be a good conversion to a recycling dumpster. So just taking a look at that and seeing if there's any changes we need to make. And then assisting the city with the Ramsey County 2022 score plan requirements. So this, of course, is a kind of a contract between the county and the city for the score funding that the city receives. And in 2021, just off the top of my head, something like $90,000 and another $18,000 for these extensive projects that we can do. So, it's a considerable amount of money, and the county wants to make sure that we're following through and completing all those requirements. So that is my presentation, and I will stop sharing and introduce to you tonight from Tennis Sanitation, Angela, who recently, I'm noticing a name change, and I've never said this name, Angela, so I'm going to Vidich. Sorry about that, Angela.
That's okay.
Willie Tennis. So
Yeah, my name's the same.
Welcome, and I'll turn it over to the chair for questions and comments. Thank you.
Great. Anybody have any comments, questions? No? No questions from anybody?
I guess I would have a question. The SCORE, so that's the acronym, I'm guessing, with all capitalization. Are there specific things that we should be working on for that? Or did you mean that the actions, kind of outlined in the work plan that we are planning to work on would help that SCORE and to advance those components?
Yes, thank you. I did include the SCORE agreement as an addendum to that work plan, and it's really just kind of a catch-all, but also included work plan items that would address the SCORE. And the 2 main areas that I think we can work on with tennis are, once again, they would like us to promote the biz recycling, which is an easy thing to do. And for those who are unfamiliar with that, Ramsey County offers free technical assistance and grant funding to both multifamily properties and businesses. So this organization that is an entity of Ramsey County, Biz Recycling, they're expert waste reducing people. I don't know their terminology, sorry. They will actually go to the site, do a free site visit and analysis of, oh, boy, it'd be better if you put your recycling cart here, or it looks like you need additional signage, or maybe signage in additional languages. And then they have all sorts of resources. They have those signs and so on. And then the organizations, both businesses and multifamily, can apply for a grant up to $10,000 that will cover things like a recycling dumpster enclosure. I've even seen it cover the cost of cameras, in case there's illegal dumping, things like that. So you are correct in both regards. I attached it as an addendum, but really the key component that will get at it is the working with multifamily properties.
Do you, or are you able to tell me, or does somebody else know off the top of their head which page in the agenda with both work plan, with both annual reports and the work plans attached? It's a 63-page agenda, so I must have missed that outline in there. Does anybody know what page that might be?
I'll look that up for you. It'll just take a moment.
That's fine. I'm scrolling through too, so I might find it
okay
before we get there.
Any other comments?
Yep.
Molly.
Oh, yep. Hi. So I'm just kind of scrolling around online on the website, and I was just wondering if it would be, because I know you can find tennis recycling on the City of Maplewood website, but is there like kind of a fun way to look at it? Like if you have one of those education tags on your thing, like have the tags on there and maybe have like some details. So if somebody has a question or something and they look, it's not just files. You know what I mean? Like if you look up tennis sanitation, that way that we can be maybe a little bit more, a little bit more just customer friendly online for that. That might help with some education. So if somebody gets a tag, that says, please review the things or whatever. I can't remember what the tags say. I've never gotten one.
Good job. Yeah, I can absolutely talk with Sean and see if we can either get like the image of it, but I know if you do click on tennis sanitation, our recycling tab is very well explained out what can and cannot go in there.
Right.
And really the educational tab or tag just kind of has the list of no's.
Right.
And the driver checks off which one is not supposed to go in there.
Right.
And then there is a space at the bottom to write a note if it's something that's not on that pre-printed list.
Sure.
But yeah, I can talk with Sean and see if we can do something with the website.
Maybe a suggestion. The pandemic has really brought back those QR codes as a pretty effective way to, get people right to the webpage with the information that you're looking for. So I don't know if something could be done with that. Some time ago, we met with Joe, the communications specialist with the city, who was talking about maybe doing some instructional videos. So, if there's content that's developed, maybe the QR code that takes you to the Recycling 101 video, that shows you what you can and can't put in there. If that kind of, linking some of that educational content and getting people right to it more quickly could help to reduce those no tags in the future. So people are pretty clear on what they need to do.
Well, and I was just thinking, this is kind of a neat idea. So, I work in the school systems, and I thought, how cool would it be to have a competition for the schools to do like a video of what not to put in there and what to put in there kind of thing, just because I work with EL students a lot, and we've done, I mean, you guys have done such a good job with the pictures on the top of the can and all that stuff, and that really helps with a lot of the English as a second language families. And I just thought that if it was easy to find on the website as well, with all the, you know, just the pictures are so helpful. Because like we do that at the elementary school, is we'll show them the pictures that are on there so they know what to put in there and what not to put in. So I just thought that would be kind of neat, and then we could even run it on our, you know, on here or something, but like a competition or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know that we did just recently do an update with our website, and we did add some more pictures to it to help with that. And then we are also working on getting a link up. The city of Hastings, it's called Take a Hike Mike. He actually came and did a presentation with Willie about the recycling center, and that it's very kid friendly. So we are working on getting that on our recycling page as well, to be a little video to be user friendly and very easy to watch.
Commissioner Redmond, you have your hand up.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got actually two questions. The first one is, from Tennis Sanitation's perspective, do you have any sort of sense as to the 100-ton or so downward blip from 20 to 21? Just looking ahead at the the solid waste trash report happens to be the same kind of 100,000 uptick on that side. So are we just throwing away stuff instead of being recycling? So that's one question, is what, if you have any observations that we can learn from there. And the other is, just from your perspective, how is the recycling market looking? Are you finding good homes for content? Is there anything changing there that we should be aware of or we can be mindful of?
So with the tonnage loss, what we're seeing is that paper, like office paper or school worksheets, are not getting into the recycling cart. And we really, with looking at it and also having a school-age child myself, they're really keeping everything digital, because they need to keep it, that aspect of they might go distance at any time, or if that child does get COVID, they do their schoolwork at home kind of thing. So the schools have definitely had a huge impact of not sending all the paperwork home. And then also still a large percentage of people working from home as well. So a lot more things that are digital. That would be our main guess, and what we're seeing is that we are definitely getting less paper in the streams. And then for our end markets, we really haven't seen much of a struggle because we keep all of our stuff in the Midwest and in the US. We don't ship overseas or anything. So other than the trucking issue, so a lot of the companies that we are trying to get the product to get it recycled into the end markets, they definitely are having trucking shortages and driver shortages. So that's our biggest struggle. But they're all still wanting the product, and they're all still buying it just the same. So no big struggles there other than getting it picked up.
The work plan is on page 40, by the way. You probably found it by now.
I'm watching them Take a Hike Mike thing. That's hysterical.
Right? It is so much fun.
That's why I'm laughing. I just was like, take a hike, Mike. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. But yes, something, I just thought it would be neat, something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, like if the kids had a competition or something. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you for doing that. I really do.
Absolutely.
I just have a quick question. One of the things as I was looking through the detail that really struck me as like a very avid recycler was the impact analysis for the city. Is that something that we share broadly, or is that kind of, maybe I just miss it, or is it more restricted in its distribution where it kind of converts like the paper to the trees and things like that? Is that something that ever gets sent out more widely?
Madam Chair, I don't think we've ever produced an article with that kind of around it. So That's a wonderful idea. It sure is catchy.
Yes. It just really like brought, for me, it brought it home like, oh wow, like every time I put a box in, I don't really think about the number of trees. And then you see it there, which is such a cool report to have generated. So thank you. That's so cool to see. And then just to see the whole list and how big those numbers are of things saved, I think could be cool for other people to see as well.
Absolutely. And Tennis, they do a nice annual report for multifamily properties as well, and mails that directly to the property, so they see that. So I think all we've ever done in the past with this is just, of course, the annual report goes to our Environmental Commission and City Council, and usually is on our website. So, but I think you're right. We have done, articles on by the numbers and to see how much people recycle or, what goes in the trash. But having those visuals, those, what they call them, info, the logos and so forth, I think would be very informative.
That's a cool idea, because that's what they do for like the energy stuff too. How many trees did you save or from last year and all that. That's a cool idea.
And on the education tags, I wanted to mention, so Tennis did supply us with those education tags in during the contract period, which was before 2020. So it's a good idea to maybe do a little audit of those. So if it's acceptable, we should add something like that to the work plan. We recently did that with Republic Services. They updated their education tags.
Yeah, we can certainly look into it.
Anything else?
And Madam Chair, I'm sorry, we didn't really hear from Tennis except to answer questions, and I'm wondering if you want to take a moment to, I don't know, tell us anything new. Willie's always got something to say.
Well, it's hard to tell you anything new because everything in our business is used.
What a bum. You've been working on that.
No, as far as recycling goes, there's not a whole lot new. I mean, we take so many more products than any other company already. And there hasn't been any new things that come on the market yet. We're always looking, but just haven't come up with nothing lately.
Well, Tennis, your facility certainly has changed since the time that we first contracted with you. You built a big sorting facility, and I know some of our commissioners had a tour, but it would be beneficial maybe. Now, see how I'm adding things to the work plan? But maybe you could just tell us. Slow down. Tell us about your facility. Some of our newest members aren't familiar where you are and all that.
Oh, well, our facility, we're here in St. Paul Park. We just put on a 88 by 200 foot addition back in 2015. And we just added more machinery, more efficient machinery, and capable of doing more ton per hour. And so, yeah, and we just replaced some more equipment here 6 months ago. And so we're always upgrading to keep up with the times and to do a better job. And we're real proud of our residuals because we have a very low number on that. And that's because of the machinery we have. And so it works out very well for us.
Madam Chair, if you don't mind, now that you're on residuals, it looks like the biggest residual still is the styrofoam. Any other problem materials out there?
No, not exactly. But what we started to do, I believe you're aware of this, we have new decals made up that say no styrofoam, no plastic bags. And the townhouses behind Maplewood Mall, Heritage, and forgot what the other one is out there. But we started putting decals on their carts, and we have seen more styrofoam going in the trash now than in recycling. And so that's something that we plan on doing more and more of.
Okay, so you kind of got a head start with this label audit, really.
Yes.
Because the one thing that tennis used to offer to recycle was plastic bags. They were trying this new process, and that process went debunked. And now some of those labels might have that on there still, that you can recycle a plastic bag.
Yes.
So we can update those. So your driver just gets out, and or do you have a separate car go around when the carts are out?
Well, we actually have this older gentleman that goes out to those townhouses and pulls the carts away from the buildings. Otherwise, unfortunately, we've hit a few overhangs because the carts, they leave it right up by the garage. So he pulls them out. So when he pulls them out, then he's been bringing decals and putting them on the carts.
Oh, I see.
So that's how that happened to start there.
Older gentleman. Okay.
Yes. He was our uncle, but through divorce, he's not actually our real uncle, but we still call him.
About Take a Hike Mike. Can he get out there?
Family affair at tennis. Well, my staff presentation is done. Thank you very much.
Any last comments?
Oh, I guess I'm not done.
Not done. We have to talk about Republic.
Well, I just wanted to mention that the tennis sanitation recycling annual review will go to our city council for final approval, and that'll be in April. I think the April 11th meeting. So, thank you, Angela and Willie.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Stick around if you want, or sign off.
Yeah, we might watch the next report, see how that goes.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you. All right, Sean, I'll hand it back over to you for the Republic Service Trash and Yard Waste Collection Annual Review.
All right. I will share my screen once again. Oh, it's frozen and won't move. Arrgh. What do you do? Let me try that again. There it is. Won't move. Okay, bear with me once more. Boy. The Zoom gods have it out for me tonight. All right, here we go. I had to close it and start over here. Okay, thank you for your patience once again. So our next item is the Republic Services Trash and Yard Waste Annual Review. Oh. Okay. So Republic Services has been the city's contracted trash and yard waste haulers since 2012. And that, of course, is when the city of Maplewood organized its trash hauling. Prior to that, it was an open hauling system. We had about 9 different residential haulers. But in 2020, we were able to combine the timing of both the trash and recycling contracts. So that now they both started at 2020 and will expire January 30th of 2025. So both 5.5-year contracts. So this was the first time that we were able to align the contracts, which was helpful. The contract does require an annual review, same as the recycling, for both trash and yard waste report and trash and yard waste work plan. So the 2020 work plan summary, I want to give you a summary of this, things that Republic Services was working on last year. A sustainable cart management plan. So when the city of Maplewood first organized its trash hauling, we purchased trash carts. So the city of Maplewood owns the trash carts. The city tax on a 75-cent per household per month fee to cover the cost of the carts. And that was a utility bond that we took out back in 11. And at that time, we didn't really have it thought out very far, except, oh, we need 10,000 carts. So this should be good because they're a 10-year warranty and we're all good now for 10 years. No, that's not how it worked. Over time, the carts disappeared. We did have a warranty, of course, so if they were damaged, we got new ones. But it just, we didn't really calculate that yearly we're going to need to purchase more carts. So Republic Services helped us come up with a plan to ensure that we're ordering carts in a timely fashion. There was a time when we ran out of Maplewood carts and Republic had to roll out their carts. So that was quite a process. So we want to make sure we don't run into that problem again. Rollout of 95-gallon yard waste carts. So the initial contract had Republic Services rolling out 65-gallon carts for yard waste material. And the new contract was 95. So we wanted to make sure that all of the existing yard waste subscriptions and all of the new ones were offered that 95-gallon cart. So Republic Services did an audit of that and switched out the carts. The people that wanted those switched out. Fall cleanup campaign. Yearly, we work with Republic Services, and we've done this since back in 2012. So we used to have two cleanups in Maplewood. They're both held at Aldrich Arena, and we would accept bulky items. People would drive in and drop off those items. But it was a huge amount of work for staff, and we had all sorts of contractors and subcontractors out there. So once we organized our trash hauling, and now we have the curbside bulky item collection built right into the contract with that pricing, which is pretty reasonable, $10 to $35 depending on the item. We decided to reduce the amount of cleanup events to one, so that's held in the spring, and then offer this what we called a fall cleanup campaign. Kind of wanted to focus on an entire month, the month of October, and we would do education and outreach on recycling, reduction of waste, reusing items, things of that nature. And then in connection with that, Republic Services would offer the bulky item collection at a reduced rate. And now initially when we first rolled this out, it was a 50% reduction. There was nothing written into the contract, and now in the new contract here is a 20% reduction. But still, you can save some money throughout the month of October with that fall cleanup campaign. And we do see increases in bulky item collection through that curbside program during that month. And then pay-as-you-throw schedule. This was something new for the contract. So we have the base rates for the collection, and then the tipping fee, which is the cost to dispose of the trash at the Ramsey Washington Energy Center in Newport. So that fee changes yearly. And so we take a look at that fee and see how we can adjust it over the size of the carts so that slowly over the term of the contract and beyond, we'll eventually have, the 95-gallon cart have a variation in pricing more so than we had previously. It was like $1 or $2 between the different cart sizes. So, if you had a choice between 35-gallon and a 95-gallon when they were only a couple dollars apart, you'd likely just go with the 95. But now, as we're creating that larger gap in pricing, we're seeing, and hopefully we'll continue to see those cart sizes being reduced, reduction in waste, and then again, that increase in the recycling. So we've come up with a pretty slick plan to do this yearly. The first year was kind of challenging to figure it out, but this year it went really smoothly, went very smooth for year 2021. And in the 2022 work plan proposal, which again is up for discussion tonight, I put together some ideas on how Republic Services could help with the City of Maplewood's trash and yard waste program. So this is just kind of out there as, hey, this is coming. Preparations for the county's curbside organics collection program. And we've had updates on this, but as a reminder, Ramsey and Washington County are working on a program to allow the collection of food scraps in durable compostable bags, and then residents would just put those bags in the trash cart itself. So there's not much for a trash hauler to do except pick up the trash as usual, and then once it's tipped at the recycling and energy center, then it's separated. But we want to make sure that we're preparing for that program, which the county states should begin end of 2022, beginning of 2023. So that's just around the corner. Trash hauling audits for households, opt-outs, opt-ins, and walk-ups. And really this gets at the audit that Tennis and the city just completed, and just kind of comparing notes with Republic Services. And then the other numbers have to do with something that's been kind of coming up year after year, and how it doesn't seem like the city and the Republic Services numbers are matching very well. But I think we have a good handle on it now. But just put it in the work plan to ensure that we finalize that. Townhome and manufactured home outreach. So under the contract, townhomes and manufactured homes were not included in residential recycling back when the city first organized its trash hauling. And the theory there was these neighborhoods were already organized because they had contracts with haulers for their entire neighborhood, and likely couldn't get out of those contracts at that time. So the city council back then wrote in some language, agreed to some language in the contracts and the solid waste ordinance that allows the townhomes and manufactured homes to opt into the City of Maplewood's program. And we really haven't done a lot of outreach on that to try to get people into our program, except for the solid waste guide that we try to send to all those residents as well, and it includes the trash information. So I would like to take a look at how we can do a little of that outreach this year. Improvements to the yearly reports, and I shouldn't say improvements, I should just say changes. I apologize for that, but in line with Tennis's, we've been doing the reports many years, but I think now there's some room for changes. And again, city facility trash and organic collection assessment. So Republic Services, they actually just started collecting the city's trash and organics at the city facilities for free as part of the contract under this new contract. Previously, the city was contracting year by year with various haulers. So that's a nice benefit to our city and the residents, because we're not paying for that now. But kind of doing an audit to make sure we have the right parts and right sizing and so forth. City, billing changes. And we took a look at this last year, and it looked like it was going to be a bit more to accomplish. So I added it to this year's work plan. But as I stated, we organized trash hauling in 2012. The rollout was in October. So the billing started October, November, and then December, January, because Republic Services does the billing bi-monthly. So after all these years, we're still on that billing cycle. But year after year, the first of the year comes around when the rates are changing, and people are getting that December, January bill, and it has, one year's rates and the next year's rates, and it's real confusing, and it generates a lot of calls and confusion. So we'd like to see how Republic Services could change that billing cycle to ensure we start in January. And what that will take is having a bill that is like 3 months altogether, and then starting, or having a bill that's just 1 month. So we're trying to determine how to best approach that. And then Net Promoter Score and customer service improvements. So this was something outlined in the new contract, this Net Promoter Score, as a way for the city kind of to track how Republic Services is doing with its customer service. When we organized trash hauling years ago, they had a localized customer service. So it was right out of Inver Grove Heights, I believe, Arden Hills. And then since that time, they've converted to this national call center. And we want to make sure we're tracking to see how that national call center is doing with the city of Maplewood's calls. And then they supply, again, a host of data, Republic Services does, but I've condensed it now. And look, I have the years right on this one. So let's take a look at some of those. Putting my sunglasses on. Looking from all this fun. Okay. The trash collected from 2020 to 2021, 8,871.61 tons, up 8,972.03 tons. The bulky items, 1,891 tons in 2020, and now we're working on a new measurement, so it's a little harder to, I probably could have converted this, but I didn't have time. So next year we'll have a better handle on this, but now we're looking at the units, the number of items collected. That would be, an appliance, a bed, a chair, whatever the bulky item is that they're collecting. So we collected 1,343 units in 2021. The yard waste, 648.30 tons in 2020, 528.84 tons in 2021. And that's an interesting, I should have the yard waste accounts there, because on the bottom you can see that those accounts are actually up, but the yard waste collected was down. So that's interesting. Single family accounts, 8,924 accounts. And when you compare that to the households that we looked at for recycling, the reason those numbers are higher is because it includes the manufactured homes and the townhomes. And this is just the single family homes. And the accounts that have opted in, again, I don't know about these numbers. We're still kind of looking at them. But since we started, it looks like maybe 99 accounts have opted in of the townhomes. And there's a lot more that could opt in. Permanent exemptions, I think this is a good example. When we first organized trash hauling, I think there was about 240 people that said, no, I'm not playing this trash game. And they had to pay a fee, $35 fee, to opt out of the city's trash program. But they had to prove that they had an environmentally responsible way of dealing with their trash. And that could be, an example might be an elderly person whose neighbor takes their trash in, so they share a cart. Or you have a business where you have a licensed hauler collect your trash, and you bring your trash, to your business. So we see that those exemptions are going down yearly, and so now we're at 145 exemptions. And then walk-up service. This is a nice service offered by both Republic Services and Tennyson. And the driver will get out of the cart, walk up to the garage, collect the cart, back down to the curb, tip it, and walk it back up. And this is a nice service for our residents that are having physical challenges in getting that cart down to the curb. So that is my presentation, and I would like to introduce to you tonight We have here from Republic Services, Beverly, and Beverly, I might pronounce this wrong, but Matheson.
Pretty close. It's Matheson.
Ah, it's not spelled that way, Beverly.
I know. And my husband's family, they just were not hooked on phonics.
I can relate with my name, as you know, Sean, spelled oddly. But and then I have never met our newest Republic Services representative. Should I try to? I'm not going to try to say the name. So maybe you could introduce yourself.
Sean, I tell you what, I'm going to come to your rescue tonight. I'm really proud to introduce to all of you my co-partner here, our municipal administrator, Samara Halada.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So,
nice to meet you.
With that, I will turn it over to the chair, and hopefully we can maybe take some questions to staff if there are any, and then open it up to Beverly and Samara for kind of a presentation, and then questions from the commission is how I would suggest. Thank you.
Sean, I did have a question for the food waste that's coming out, that new process in the end of the year. How will residents be notified that they can sign up for, or do they have to sign up for that, or how will they be notified when that is starting?
Well, Ramsey and Washington County are working on that, so they'll have a big campaign. I don't have all the details, but it will be a voluntary program. I'm not sure you even need to sign up, really. They had a recycling coordinator meeting last week and I missed it. I was on vacation. I would have learned all of this information, but they're really going to be working closely on the education and outreach.
Okay, great. Looking forward to that one. Any other questions, comments? No?
For staff?
For staff, yeah. Otherwise, we can turn it over to Beverly and Samara. Any questions for them, or is there anything you'd like to share with us?
We just want to thank you again for another great year. It's always our pleasure to work with Sean. We've made a lot of great improvements this year. One in particular that I wanted to share with all of you, it's most recent and very exciting for us. As Sean mentioned earlier in her presentation, we moved, I think it was in 2016, from a local call center located in Eden Prairie to national call center model. What we just very recently did is we decided to shift that again for more of a local feel. What we've done is we've taken 108 call center reps, some of which live and work right here in Minnesota from their homes. And they have been provided training for our area's business units. What that means to you is now you don't go into a mix of a national call center. The calls will first flow to those 108 specifically, those 108 call center reps who understand our area. And so they are allocated resources to service these calls. Again, it's just, although they're not physically planted in one office here, they are tasked with handling the calls for this area. So that's really exciting for us here in the field. And we're excited to see how that will positively impact our net promoter relationship scores. We've seen it in the pilot increase significantly. So again, we're really thrilled to have these, these special agents working for us.
Great. Commissioner Miller?
That is really cool because if they are more familiar with our local issues, whether it's, construction or snow, ice, that kind of thing, that's that's going to really matter to people who call in who are having issues because of those things. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you.
Anything else?
Well, and then I just wanted to call out on page, let's see what it is. I think it's 3. Yes, page 3 of our report. I would just invite you all to take a read of that. Some more exciting news about our Pine Bend landfill and a big project we have there. Again, we've really moved into an environmental space. We've always been there, but if you go to republicservices.com, you'll see that just recently we had a big acquisition here with US Ecology, and I'm going to save that thunder for a little later. Hopefully I'll get the chance to meet with you all and update on what that means early this fall for the city and cities here within the Twin Cities. Very exciting times ahead.
Madam Chair, of course, all of Maplewood's residential trash goes to the Ramsey Washington Recycling and Energy Center. And are you referring to some environmental improvements you're making to the landfills you currently have?
Yeah, some good local investments here made to that to that landfill, which, whether or not, if you're in Ramsey County, granted, it's going to REB. However, it's still really great for our community at large.
Are you referring to the biogas stuff? Cool.
We just opened a polymer center also. We're just working on that, where we can process plastics. If you take a look at our announcements on our website, that's going in Las Vegas. And so there could be some local impacts there as well. Again, I'll save those messages when I have a lot more information, but we recently announced that. And it's very exciting for us as a leader in the environmental space.
I just want to throw field trips out there. Just saying it.
Oh, I'd be the leader. I'd go.
One year we did take a field trip out to an active landfill. Where's that, in Rosemount, or it was through the Republic Services?
That's it's in Invergrove Heights.
Invergrove Heights, okay. But you know what? Everyone should go on that tour because it was amazing. You drive up this mountain of trash and you get to the top, and the trucks are still dumping stuff from wherever, and the seagulls are loving it, and it's just kind of eye-opening, like, wow, this is my trash.
Yeah. Well, and it's cool because a lot of the school kids, I know that when we did science, we built like a landfill with the the lining and all that stuff to show them how that worked. And then so it's such a neat thing. I kind of hope that we can get some of that information kid friendly. Eventually.
We actually have a lot of videos on recyclingsimplified.com. It's possible that there could be some of that type of material on that website as well. I'm not certain if there is, but there are virtual tours. I know of the recycling piece, although we do not handle that contract, that is Tennis's, but there could be some landfill information on that page. I just don't know off the top of my head.
Great. Any other comments?
Again, this will go to our city council on April 11th. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right. Well, you guys are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. Otherwise, feel free to sign off. But thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So moving on, agenda item number 6. We don't have any unfinished business. No visitor presentations. No commissioner presentations, so we'll hand it back over to Sean for staff presentations. We got quite the list today.
I'll keep it brief. I wanted to update you that the mayor did and city council, they are now converting back to in-person meetings, and it has been their process to, once council meetings begin in person, the commission and board meetings will as well. So we're looking at in-person meetings beginning April 18th. And I did hear some comments on some challenges about the in-person meetings. So if anyone has anything else, I'm be happy to forward all that on to our city manager for kind of review and consideration. But the challenge I heard earlier was that having the Zoom meetings reduces all the barriers to getting here.
You can attach my name right to it if you'd like.
Okay, I'll move on then. I wanted to remind you, I think I brought this up last time, the city of Maplewood will hold its annual, although I don't think we had one last year due to COVID, but Arbor Day event. As a Tree City USA, it is a requirement of the city to hold some sort of celebration of trees. So now that the Maplewood Nature Center is open, of course, we want to start getting some programming back there. And one big program we'd like to offer is the Arbor Day event, which will be on Saturday, May 14th from 10 until noon. We'll be partnering with the Friends of Maplewood Nature Group, and they'll be rolling out their Tree Trek program. They've created like 42 signs with QR codes that'll be placed by various tree species along the hiking trail. So it's kind of an interactive way to learn about the trees and so forth. So we'll have a smattering of those out there. The Friends of Maplewood Nature Group will be there. We'll have some other fun activities at that Arbor Day event. And let me know if you're interested in assisting. We have put a call out to some of we used to have a big volunteer program, of course, when the Nature Center was up and running and we had our naturalists on staff. So we still have that list of volunteers, and we put a call out, and we had some great response. So people are willing to help us out, which is nice. People miss the Nature Center, so let me know if you're interested, and I'll send a follow-up email as well. Moving on to the cleanup, the spring cleanup, which this year is scheduled for May 21st, a little later in the year. We usually hold it around Earth Day, but Aldrich Arena was all booked up last minute, so I had to push it into May. But the more I think about it, the more this makes sense, because like in the environmental world, you're just supposed to get everything done on Earth Day, so there's just so much going on around that time. And then having it in May allows, residents more time to clean out their garages when the weather gets nice. So maybe we'll continue that. But it'll be May 21 from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. And we'll be at Aldrich Arena again. Republic Services, it'll be their second year helping us with that event. The first year would have been 2020, but it was canceled due to COVID. And then we had the event last year, and it was mind-blowing, the number of residents and material that showed up. So we think a lot of that was due to, number one, the shutdowns and people having all that time to clean out their garage. Number two, our new pricing structure, which was per vehicle rate rather than per vehicle plus item that needed like special processing. As an example of an appliance, it requires special processing to recycle that. So you'd have to pay whatever it was, $12 for your car and $12 for your appliance. Now it was just a per car rate. So people were like jamming in all these TVs into their car and only paying whatever it was, $10. It was a good deal. But we were overrun with material and residents, and unfortunately we had to turn away a lot of people at that event, which was really hard to do. So we're taking a look at some of the challenges that were out there last year, and we think we have a handle on. It was those giant trailers, and people rented moving vans. They were showing up in moving vans with material. So we're really going to look at pricing those kind of, so people are not encouraged to bring them. And we always need volunteers out there as well, so I'll send a follow-up email on that. It's kind of fun to meet and greet all the residents that come in during that event. Harvest Park Native Seed Garden, which of course is in Harvest Park. We partner with Urban Roots on that. And this year we'd like to host a few events out at the park. And the first event is May 24th. It's just an hour-long event, but it'll be kind of fun. We'll be doing some planting out there. So we'll advertise that in our Maplewood Living. And like Waterfest, that's the last one. So they are holding the Waterfest event for a one-day event this year. This year's date will be June 4th, and it's from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. So it's a great opportunity for our environmental commission to, have that booth and do some education, hopefully around our climate adaptation and climate action planning would be great this year. So I'll send additional details on that also. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any last questions?
Maybe next month I would suggest maybe we look at maybe getting a subcommittee for Waterfest. We usually do that just to make sure we have everything, all the logistics taken care of and ideas.
Good idea.
I had another thought. Sorry that I'm a little bit slow on the uptake with this, but you mentioned the return to in-person meetings. Amalie, Commissioner Miller's earlier comment about that removing some barriers. Maybe a question to pass along is whether our meetings would, we could have an in-person component, but can commissioners join via Zoom remotely as needed? It'd be nice to have that flexibility, because sometimes it works out to go, sometimes it does not. So I know that's a challenge logistically to make that work with the communications hookups, but just a suggestion since you asked for them.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. If not, we will. Was there a motion to adjourn?
I can make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. The meeting of the Environmental and Natural Resources Commission adjourns today at 8:15 p.m. All right. Thanks, everyone.